Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. And yeah, today, before Arsenal face tomorrow Fulham, quite interesting results have taken place in the game. Quite interesting outcomes. Some interesting talks have been circling around. Manchester City drawing against Crystal Palace, also getting a red card. Nottingham Forest winning against United 3-2 at Old Trafford. So there's quite a bit of stuff to talk about in general about the Premier League and how it affects Arsenal's league position, how it affects tomorrow's game, and how everything could go, of course, not including also the postponed game on the Merseyside derby this due to weather and yeah, it's quite interesting currently if you look at the table. And of course, you're gonna look at some transfer rumors, stuff like that, and maybe some injury boosts for tomorrow, given Gabriel that he might be actually with the squad. Calafiori is still a bit of more of a doubt, but looks like Gabriel could be a bit more possible that he's gonna play, of course. So if you're new around here, don't forget to smash thumbs up, like the thing, like it, spread the word around. It definitely helps the algorithm and everything. Subscribe if you're new around here. Get your thoughts in the chat live as we are doing this, and of course down in comments below, because let's be real, I'm gonna talk to you in comments as well. Let's do that as well. So today, what we're gonna kick things off, to be honest, is Premier League in general, Premier League schedule, Premier League settings, Premier League stuff. In more specifically, if you wanna know, sorry, something just glitched out for me a bit here. But in general, what we're gonna talk about in this instance is this. Is Premier League games, Premier League results out of today's games, because that is actually quite massive. If you ask me, that is quite massive. Of course, Everton vs Liverpool, due to weather conditions and worries and stuff like that, was postponed. The last game at the Goodison Park. Now the big question is, will that game be played at the Goodison Park now that it is postponed, and how further along it will be postponed? Because maybe they're gonna play tomorrow. Maybe there is a chance of that happening. It's not like any of the teams have to travel all across the country or something like that. It's in one city pretty much, so let's be real. So we will have to wait and see. Brentford won 4-2 against Newcastle, which was quite massive, to be honest. That game was actually quite interesting to watch, I'm not gonna lie. Buemo, Wissa, Colin, Sade scored 4 different goal scorers. Alexander Isak scored today's game as well. Interesting cross, I think it was by Murphy, and a very, very direct diving header in a way by Isak, and Barnes made it 2-2, but ultimately Brentford had too much for them. But yeah, it feels like Newcastle have fallen off the face of the earth. Genuinely, they obviously drew against Liverpool 3-3, but overall, it's not looking too great for them, is it? And one of those big games, where are we? Villa beat Southampton 1-0, which is nothing big. John Duran scored. John Duran is one of those players I actually would love to see at Arsenal as a striker. We would be very interesting to see how he fits into the system, how he fits in the squad, and could actually take the striker role for Arsenal pretty comfortably and do the job that's necessary to score goals enough to get us over the line. But definitely, John Duran, even as a secondary striker, I would be very happy and excited to get. Now the question is, would Arsenal actually entertain the idea? That is the big question still. And Southampton, yeah, did nothing. 4 shots, none on target. So basically, again, against Southampton, did nothing. But the game again was very, very weird when you kind of look at it in retrospect, of course. And the big one for today in terms of Arsenal games, Arsenal results, was Palace versus Manchester City. 2-2. Palace scored very early, made it 1-0 in the 4th minute already. In 30th minute, of course, Erling Haaland tied the result. It was 1-1. Lacroix scored in the second half, somewhat early in the second half, and Rico Lewis scored 10 minutes later. The thing is, the way they were creating chances despite having less possession and everything, Crystal Palace, if there was no Ruben Dias for Man City at center back, I'm not gonna lie, Crystal Palace would have won the game. I kid you not. If you were watching the game, if there was no Ruben Dias and somebody else, Crystal Palace more likely than not would have won the game. Because the blocks that guy made and some interceptions he did were insane, to say the least. Quite opportunistic time for him to come back from injury. But ultimately, Rico Lewis, towards the end of the game, got a secondary yellow, red card, and bang, they draw the game 2-2, which is very fortunistic for Arsenal. We're going to look into that as well in a split second. But ultimately, here it is. Where is it? Where is it? I have to scroll. And of course, the last one, United destroyed by Nottingham Forest 3-2. It was 3-1 as well. It was 1-0 Forest, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3. No, sorry, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. United have lost another game. Under Amorim in 4 games, 2 losses, 1 win, 1 draw for United. United at the moment, I read the stat that United are in the lowest Premier League position after 15 games of Premier League since 88-89 season. So 38, no, 39, 40, no, not 40. 27 years later, they have again beaten another record, and it's not a record you actually would want to beat, I'm not gonna lie. Big up BX Gunner in the chat, big up my guy, welcome. Welcome to the club, welcome to the squad. Big up Nathan, big up. Imagine needing a goal and you bring on Eddie Nketiah, dude. We can now laugh at this. But let's not forget, last year we needed a goal against Bayern Munich, and what we did? We brought on Eddie Nketiah. We needed a goal against City, what we did? We brought on Eddie Nketiah. So we can laugh at Crystal Palace like we have robbed them blind, pretty much. Let's be honest with ourselves. Arguably. But Arsenal, yeah. Arsenal have robbed the Crystal Palace blind, and we are joking now that imagine you need a goal and you sub on Eddie Nketiah, but Arsenal last season were doing the same goddamn thing, and it wasn't pretty. It was more frustrating than anything, of course. But ultimately, these 4 results, not 5, still a question mark when this Everton-Liverpool game is gonna get played at the Goodison. Maybe tomorrow, who knows. Although at the same time, if it gets postponed in like 2-3 months, it might not be at Goodison, it might be already at the new stadium. But yeah, these results have kind of quite heavily impacted the Premier League table, if you ask me. Because after today's games, Villa won against Southampton, so they are up to 6 now on level points with Nottingham Forest. However, Nottingham Forest, by beating Manchester United, have risen up to 5th place, only 2 points behind City, which is quite massive, let's be honest with ourselves. But the biggest one in all of this, in all the shabacle that happened today, is for Arsenal. The fact that Man City drew the game means that we are already, no matter what happens, 1 point above Man City by the end of this game, week 15. Which again means, if Arsenal win this game, we go 4 points clear. And yes, City are struggling, yes, they are not yet at the moment, but it is massive in every way, shape or form. Because if something clicks for Man City, some injuries happen for Arsenal, it can go either way. Having that, even a smaller bit, 2-game swing cushion either way, is something very, very crucial and very important that Arsenal might need. And actually might work very, very well to our advantage in that regard. However, the thing is also, if we win tomorrow against Fulham, it also would decrease the gap to Liverpool to 4 points. Now, you have to keep in mind that there is an asterisk to all of this because Liverpool still have to play Everton. When it's gonna happen, still I have no idea. I haven't seen too much. Maybe you guys know watching when this postponed game is gonna get played, but currently I haven't seen any reports. Haven't paid too much attention as well to that, to be honest. I was kind of enjoying Nottingham Forest destroying Man United, so it is what it is at the end of the day. But ultimately, at the end, yeah, we can basically get away from City by 4 points, and we can get close to Liverpool to 4 points, no matter what happens. And Chelsea tomorrow plays Spurs at Toilet Bowl Stadium, so that will be very interesting. I think it's a Toilet Bowl Stadium, isn't it? Tomorrow's game, is it a Toilet Bowl Stadium? Yeah, it's a Toilet Bowl Stadium. They're playing at the Toilet Bowl Stadium against Spurs. So if something happens in that game, it could be actually very interesting. Like if they get a draw or something, Arsenal have a chance to kind of solidify themselves as the 2nd place currently, at least. So there is lots of riding on this game. Quite a bit of riding on this game again, because Fulham away is a much tougher game than we had United at home. Let's be honest with ourselves. And the way Fulham are playing, the form they are in currently, it will be a tough task to get points from there. Because let's remember last year, we lost 5 out of 6 points to them. Basically, you could easily say that one game against Fulham, we win one of those games, we win the league. And that's how small the margins were last year. So we need some revenge over Fulham. But the win tomorrow at the Fulham as well, on top of that, kind of can make us pull us away from Man City. and close the gap to Liverpool until they play their game in hand, which ultimately means Arsenal currently have quite a bit of pressure on them, massive pressure on them, because at the moment, for me at least, until the end of this calendar year, we have 6 games left, and we need to win every single game. And then we could see what's going to happen. We need to win all 4 Premier League games, a game in Champions League against Monaco, which will be a tough game next week. Don't get it wrong, because Monaco are kind of flying as well. And of course, the home cup game against in Carabao Cup against Crystal Palace. So I think we should win all the 6 games, and then we could go from there in January transfer window. But quite a bit is tomorrow is riding on that Fulham game, because if we manage to even draw that game somehow, it will be very bad for Arsenal. Very bad. Because that again would give Liverpool opportunity to pull away. At worst, what we can currently achieve with Liverpool, if they keep winning, let's say, is keeping them at the same distance. We cannot afford us to drop points, because we don't know what's going to happen to Liverpool. We need to take one game at a time and hope that at one of those games Arsenal get the advantage over Liverpool, where they lose or draw and Arsenal get a win, so we can slowly but steadily kind of reduce the gap we have against them. And it will be a very rough grind, to say the least. United concede from another corner, exactly. Let's see them blame Arsenal for that as well. Arsenal are corner FC. Let's see how they kind of blame Arsenal for that as well. Everton game will have to be first week of February, which means they are not going to play in Goodison. I think that they are not. This game also won't be played in Goodison by the looks of things. Then it will be in the new stadium, because if it's February, because this game against Everton would have been the last game at Goodison Park before they moved to the new stadium, apparently. So yeah, there was quite a bit of people were saying, oh, last game at the Goodison, emotional lift. Everton, Dyche against Liverpool. Liverpool have just drawn against Newcastle. It could be interesting. I guess that's all of the window now for all the top gooners there. It's about the pressure of having that game in hand during December. Not good mentally for Liverpool. Exactly. That is the case. If Arsenal manage to win, they need to keep winning. Ultimately, at the moment, Arsenal last year proved that they can go on a massive winning streak. Out of 16 games, 14 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. We need to do that again. What Arsenal need to do now is to go on a massive winning streak to apply the pressure to Liverpool. Because that one game in hand is very cool, it's very nice, but at the same time relying on that is one of the worst things possible. Arsenal have been in these situations, one game in hand, either advantageous or disadvantageous, and both of the times we have been burned and we have balled it. So Arsenal now currently need to do what is must. We need to win. No, that's it. There is no excuses. Exactly. Get the job done first half and roadside tomorrow. Roadside versus Monaco too. Exactly. That is the case. Basically, tomorrow against Fulham, I need for Arsenal to be at least 3-0 up around 55th, 60th minute, and then we can start thinking about subbing our best players off and putting some substitutions in. 100%. Especially with injuries that players have just come back from, injuries like Timber, for example. Yes, he just has come back from ACL. Feels like it was generally 6 months ago, almost, a bit less, right? But still, you can see he until October, mid-October, actually late October, more or less, you could see that that ACL injury coming back was kind of putting extra pressure on him and issues with the knee he had and everything. And it's just the last month or so where he has gotten consistent game time, almost playing full 90s, if not full 90s, at left back or right back. So, yeah, we need to get the result done early so we can give rest to some of these players, because currently the biggest issue for Arsenal are wingbacks as well. Because we are one Timber, basically, knock or something away from playing Partey at right back once again. And that again means then we have to play Jorginho or someone in the midfield, which means now our midfield is thin as well. We have no subs in midfield as well. And it basically, one player can cause a domino effect in the team, which long term will cause more troubles than you can imagine. And that is the case. And that's why I think we are also kind of all, as Arsenal fans, quite a few of Arsenal fans, banging about the fact that Arsenal need to learn how to kill off games early. Score 3-4 goals first half. Easy. First 15 minutes, 3-4 goals, and then just see the game out with substitutions and chill and sit back. Even take maybe better foot off the gas and everything. But we don't do that. We score a goal, score two, sit back, invite the pressure, and make it as heavy as possible for ourselves at the time. So that's why it's a big issue. Can't play Timber 90 minutes every 3 days. Exactly. Until Benjamin White comes back, whether it's January, whether it's February, whether it's March or wherever, we cannot afford that. We genuinely cannot afford that in current situation. Nichols will have to do a job, dude. Imagine Nichols, right? In January we have North London Derby. Yes, Spurs are shit, useless and all that stuff, but if Timber is not playing that game, Partey is playing right back. It's already giving me a bit of an issue. Even against Werner. Yes, Werner isn't the most technical footballer, but pace per pace, he's gonna burn Partey in the last year. So that is also a big issue. If Timber goes down, play Martinelli, Arteta won't do it. He's gonna play Partey at right back. We all know that because we have seen it also mid-game happening. Remember, Zinchenko got cooked last game by Ahmad once. Instantly, he got taken off. Timber went left back, and Partey shifted down into right back, and Jorginho also came on. And it was all shift-arounds instantly. And long term, it's not sustainable. It's in a position we are in currently where we cannot afford to drop points in any game pretty much. It will cost us at some point. This is not sustainable. That is a big issue. What right back can we buy in January? No one. That is the case. I don't want Arsenal to buy just for the sake of buying. Yes, we are thin in that department. Tomiyasu, I don't know even if he's still at the club or what he's doing because he had an injury setback like mid-October and we haven't heard a peep about him since. So ultimately, if Arsenal just go and sign a random right back just because, like another Cedric or something like that, like, why? Like, might as well not sign anyone then. I don't care. Not sign anyone then. Play 3 at the back if you want to then. Play 3 at the back. Change the formation. But if you go out in January transfer window and sign a player just for signing him, it's also just a suicide pretty much mission for Arsenal. It's suicide to reply. Exactly. And Partey has been our best midfielder arguably this whole season. So what the hell we are doing then? Last year was the same thing. In the beginning of the season, Gabriel got benched. Arsenal randomly, Arteta decided to play Partey at right back. It was also in that infamous game against Fulham where we drew against 10-man Fulham. After that, Partey got injured, was out for the whole season pretty much. Like, at some point something has to give. The lack of depth in certain positions is very scary and very annoying. That really pisses me off as an Arsenal fan when I look at Arteta, Edu, Kroenkes and everyone, Garlic, Lewis and everyone there. And it hasn't been addressed. Yet at the same time, as I'm playing devil's advocate a bit here, before the season started, I would have sat here, and I did that actually, and said, yes, we don't have attackers, we lack depth and quality. Yes, we lack depth in midfield. Defensively, we are actually the most solid position. Because we have three players that can play right back, 3-4 players that can play left back. We have 2-3 players that can play center back, and someone can step in like Timber or White into center back, Calafiori into center back, Kiwior as a center back, and stuff like that. We are sorted. But now, if we look at our team, injuries and everything, attack is the same thing, no injuries, let's be real. Midfield, pretty much no injuries. Merino, okay, Partey is a 50-50. When we look at our defense now, it shambles because every single player has gotten injured. And ironically enough, all of our wingbacks. So technically, we don't even have wingbacks on some level. So that is a bit of an issue for me. Big issue in a way. But anyways, back to the games in hand and back to the stuff. And here is the case. City are now have now won one win. They have now one win in their last 9 games, which is kind of mad. Arsenal can go 4 points above them and 4 points behind Liverpool with a win tomorrow. And that is the case. Liverpool are gonna sometime replay the game against Everton that got postponed, right? So that means that at some point Arsenal, if they win against Fulham, they will be 4 points clear of City and 4 points behind Liverpool. And if we continue this, for example, and now imagine Liverpool drop points, Arsenal, for example, win, that 4-point gap decreases to 2 points. And then when they have to play that game in hand, the pressure on Liverpool, even though they have the players who can perform under pressure, they have the know-how and everything, there will be some issues there. Because at some point they won't be sustainable. And if we hit that run where we basically close the gap to 2-1 points, and the fall off at some point is going to happen because every team has a fall off. For Liverpool, hits at the time when they have to play this replayed game against Everton, which they didn't play now in December. Anything can happen. We can overtake them. If it's possible. Is it probable? At the moment, looking at it, no. But we will have to wait and see. And this is for all the top gooners, for Arsenal fans. Arsenal's captains with the best win percentage since 88-89, minimum 100 games played. A win tomorrow at Craven Cottage will put Martin Odegaard on 67 win percentage, which is the highest of any Arsenal captain in the last 35 years. I'm not gonna lie, even if we don't win, he's still gonna be the top. Odegaard has 67, would have. Mertesacker 62, Vieira 60, Koscielny 55. You know what's wild? If you look at these captains, right? Odegaard, Mertesacker, Vieira, Koscielny, Adams. No matter what the statue were, Vieira, legend. Adams, phenomenal legend. Koscielny, meh. Mertesacker, meh, but still did the job. Odegaard is the only one of all these captains who has won nothing. Ironically enough. Adams has won, Koscielny has won, Vieira has obviously won, Mertesacker as well in that final. That is actually wild. That is genuinely wild. 67%. 67%. I think there was a one with Arteta as well. I don't remember where I saw it. There was something with Arteta as the what I'm talking about with the percentages as well. I think there was somewhere. I don't remember now where I saw it, but there was one. There was one. I don't remember where, but there was one for sure. Here we go. The best win percentages from Arsenal captains from 50 plus games. You see, we just looked at 100 plus games, and Odegaard is number one with 67, would be. Who was second? Mertesacker with 62. Then there was Vieira with 60 and everything. But if we have the number of games to 50 plus, Odegaard is 66.7. Mikel Arteta is 63.2. Here is your answer to Mikel Arteta. Don't see Mikel Arteta there. There it is. There it is. And to be honest, let's be real. If we look 100 plus games, Mikel Arteta doesn't make the cut because he didn't play enough games as the captain of Arsenal. And shouldn't have as well. Let's be real. But overall, if we look at 50 plus games to 50 games, right? Odegaard is there, Arteta is there, and Mertesacker is there. So if we double that to 100 games, turns out Odegaard is still on top, Mertesacker would be second. And nothing has changed, ironically enough. This is actually kind of wild. Genuinely kinda wild, if you ask me, in this regard, of course. But yeah, that concludes these news. Let's look at some other news now, for sake. Wait, my bad. Misclick. Here we go. Yeah, suicide to rely on Tomiyasu Party, 100%. Anyways, let's look at some transfer rumors. That is also something fun to always discuss and talk about. Now, I think I need to adjust my screen, adjust this solely because, let's be real. So, let's get into this. Top club targets Arsenal star as statement signing. Arsenal are open to selling brilliant player who is a target for a top club in January. And here he goes. Brazilian giants Palmeiras are reportedly targeting Arsenal forward Gabriel Jesus in marquee signing in the upcoming transfer window, according to Ficayes. Now that is not the most trustworthy source, first of all, and that would be in January transfer window. 27-year-old is high on Palmeiras' wish list, with the club optimistic that an emotional return to his homeland could persuade Jesus to make the move. Now the big thing is, For all this persuade the move type of emotional stuff, from what I understand, Jesus doesn't want to leave Europe. Doesn't want to leave Europe. Yeah, he wants to stay and play in Europe. Jesus, who has struggled for his form this season, has managed just 1 goal in 17 appearances across all competitions. This bum played full 90 almost against Preston and didn't score. And we put 5 past Preston. He didn't score against Bolton, and we scored 3 against Bolton. Like, come on, man. This lack of impact has fueled speculation about his future at Arsenal, with reports suggesting the Gunners are open to selling him in January to fund new signings. And to be honest, the striker situation is further complicated by his ongoing legal dispute, which has left him without an agent, and that is a big issue. He kinda sacked his agent, he had no agent. This could pose challenges in securing a mid-season transfer. However, Palmeiras remain confident, viewing Jesus as a transformative addition to their attack. Now, can we just call Edu, because technically he still works here, and just say, get this deal done just because you can, or something like that? All this Tierney prop the club is doing... Tierney prop the club is doing... Yeah, he's making me... Exactly, you can see in pictures he's smiling with Odegaard and Merino, thumbs up, hugging and everything. It's a bit, yeah. He wants to get paid, and to be honest, makes sense as well. To be honest, I don't see him getting paid the same amount he gets at Arsenal. Unless he moves to Saudi, I don't see any other club paying him the same amount of money we are paying him at the moment, which is a very big thing I think. Name me a club who would be willing to buy Jesus for around 40 million. I would assume so, at least what Arsenal would want to get him, if not 50, and still pay him around 250 grand a week. Which club would be willing to do that? Besides Saudi, like seriously, because I don't see one for now at least. Arsenal among Premier League clubs monitoring Porto defender. Ooh. Arsenal keen to bolster their squad with reliable goal scorer, may see Jesus' departures, recalibrate their attacking options signed from Man City. Forward initially impressed but has struggled to make consistency following injuries and limited playtime. That's due to injuries. Jesus' current contract runs till 2027, so basically the same time when Arteta's contract runs out, giving the club leverage to demand a substantial transfer fee. However, Palmeiras' financial constraints could necessitate a compromise. The Gunners may need to lower their valuation. Oh, that is never gonna happen. Gunners may need to lower their valuation. No chance in hell that is going to happen. To facilitate the deal with the Brazilian side, despite Palmeiras' interest, Jesus reportedly prefers to continue his career in Europe. See, he wants to stay in Europe, but nobody in Europe is going to pay him that money he wants. He wants top money. A return to Brazil might offer him a fresh start and the chance to regain confidence and form, but it remains to be seen whether he's ready to leave the European stage. Palmeiras, on the other hand, see Jesus as a ideal player to lead their attack. Aren't Palmeiras losing Estevao this January? He's going finally to Chelsea and stuff like that. I think Estevao, he just scored a banging goal to carry them into the final. To carry the title charge towards the last game of the season. But yeah, I think Estevao this January is joining Chelsea. One more player for Chelsea. If the forward rediscovers his sharpness, he could be a game changer for the South American club. Well, of course, no. If Nketiah could capture a form, he could bag 50 goals for Crystal Palace. Same thing. What is this? This was written also today. Holy crap. Arsenal among Premier League clubs monitoring Porto defender. You guys interested in a Porto defender? Anyone interested in a Porto defender? Like serious talks. Anyone wants a Porto defender? Arsenal are among the top tier clubs monitoring Porto defender Martin Fernandes ahead of potential transfer. Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool are probably keen to close on Porto, promising fullback whose impressive displays have turned heads across Europe. The 18-year-old has established himself as a key player for Porto, drawing the attention for 3 Premier League powerhouses. According to TBR Football, scouts from English clubs have been tracking Fernandes in recent weeks, fueling speculation about his potential bids in the near future. The young defender's combination of attacking flair and defensive solidity has made him a hot prospect in the transfer market. Now, hold on a second. I want to see where does he play. Right back, left back. That is a big thing for me at the moment. Okay, he is predominantly a right back, but he can play also left back. Oh, this is right up Mikel Arteta's alley, isn't it? Play right back and a left back. This genuinely screams Mikel Arteta, doesn't he? He has 4 assists in 10 games in Portuguese league. That's also not bad, I'm not gonna lie. But haven't seen him play whatsoever. Haven't watched a Porto game this season, I think, yet. In Champions League or Europa League or wherever they're playing. I think it was Europa League. I haven't watched a game yet. So if anyone has seen him play, anyone can give me some heads up what this guy looks like, how does he play and everything. Is he good? Is he bad? Can he do anything? No injuries yet, but he's still only 18, so that's good. What are the rumors surrounding him? No rumors available. That is just brilliant. And he has grown up in Porto. He has been at Porto his whole life. Current value only 6 million. Which is weird. 6 million. So, basically, how is this going? Transfermarkt valued him at 6 million euros. Now, he's 18, we buy potential, and there's January premium. So that would be about 25-30 million. Now, since we buy from Portugal, that would go straight up to like 35-40 million, wouldn't it? Or am I like calculating this a bit too steep? Because buying from Portugal comes with Portuguese premium, genuinely. It comes with Portuguese premium fully. So at the moment it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. So anyone? Would anyone want him? Would anyone want this guy at Arsenal? How much money? Let's just talk. Last time we got a Porto player. Dude, he's back at Porto. That is the wild part. Last time we got a Porto player, he's back at Porto currently. That's how wild it is actually. But this one's a defender, right back / left back, so technically Arsenal would need one of those. You just were talking about what if Arsenal signed a right back / left back this January transfer window. Here is one for you. Chelsea meanwhile are exploring options to bolster their right back position amid concerns over Reece James. Yeah, Reece James is gone, isn't he? Fernandes could provide competition for Gusto, creating a strong traditional. No thanks. With emphasis on developing young talent, Fernandes fits the profile for a long-term investment who could evolve into key player under Arteta's guidance. Oh, spare Crimea River. Spare anything. Anyways, Marcos Silva sends a strong message to Arsenal over set-piece threat. Oh, this had to be good. Fulham manager Marcos Silva has dismissed concerns over Arsenal's set-piece strength, reminding the Gunners of his side's success in such situations last season. The Cottagers are set to host Arsenal and blah 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 blah. However, Silva remains confident, drawing on Fulham's strong record against the Gunners in the previous campaign. Speaking at the press conference on Friday, he highlighted his team's success in dead ball situations against Arsenal. Last season, we did really well in that situation. Silva said we scored twice against them from set pieces. They did, to be honest. And the reality is that they didn't score from a set piece against us. Let's hope we can repeat the same. Oh boy, someone's cocky. Obviously, he's stating just facts, but there is some cockiness behind it 100%. I'm not gonna lie. Let's loan him then with option to buy. We could try that, loan with option to buy, see how he plays. Or we can re-sign Cedric, who is still, I think, a free agent. Well, anyways, Marcos Silva, cocky bastard. Anyways, swiftly moving on. Here we go. This is for for Nathan, who also loves Conte. Antonio Conte, right? Here we go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. With the January transfer window approaching, Sporting Director Mana has compiled an extensive list of central defenders to address Conte's requirements. Topping this list is Jakub Kiwior. Ho ho ho! Jakub Kiwior, the former Spezia player now at Arsenal, favored for his left-footed profile, a crucial attribute to Conte's system. Other targets include Antonio Silva from Benfica. Benfica want around 60-70 million for him. No chance Napoli are paying that. And Vitic from Sparta Prague. That is a bit more realistic, I'm not gonna lie. As well as Danilo from Juventus. I'm not sure they're gonna sell him. to them at least, and Luis Felipe, who was recently released by Al Ittihad, so free agent, maybe. But yeah, topping the list for Napoli to sign a center back is Jakub goddamn Kiwior. Who would have thought? Harry Wilson, Conte to the rescue. Gasperini is top of Serie A. Yeah, he is. Your manager is on top of Serie A 100% at the moment. Beat AC Milan yesterday 2-1. Lookman scored again. Another crucial goal for Lookman. That is a big thing. Anyways, speaking of Atalanta, by the way. Speaking of Atalanta, as we are here. I know you love this stuff. Arsenal have ended their pursuit of Atalanta midfielder Ederson after being quoted a steep €60 million, about £55 million I think, for his services according to reports from Italy. The North London club, along with Liverpool, had expressed interest in 25-year-old Brazilian, but swiftly backed away following initial contact. Ederson has generated significant attention after a standout 23-24 season for Atalanta, where he was instrumental in their Europa League triumph, including the decisive victory over Bayer Leverkusen in the final. True, but Lookman scored the hat-trick, you know. Lookman scored the hat-trick, so what are we talking about here? This season, he has made 20 appearances across all competitions, continuing to impress with his intelligence, dynamism, and ability to dictate the pace of play. Atalanta manager Gianpiero Gasperini has lauded the midfielder for his evolution, highlighting his growing influence as a player of balance in the squad. According from Corriere dello Sport, and the latest edition indicated both Arsenal and Liverpool made initial approaches for Atalanta regarding a potential transfer, but quickly withdrew after being informed that Serie A club's 60 million price tag. This figure appears to have been enough to dissuade both Premier League sides from pursuing the Brazil international further. So that means that he's not coming to Arsenal ultimately. That means that. There's nothing more left to say. Nathan is heartbroken that we are not signing Ederson. To be honest, I would love to see how Ederson would fit at Arsenal. The thing is, sometimes when I watched Ederson, it feels like he's a bit stiff on the ball, if that makes sense. But obviously that could be also just some of games, because I don't watch Atalanta consistently. I watch an odd game here or there. Because I watch Serie A, I will admit to that, but I don't watch to such an extent that I specifically watch certain player and certain team just to see if that player would fit Arsenal. There are players I watch like that, like Reinders and Rafael, Lautaro Martinez, even though I don't want him, but just in case. There are some other players I watch, Lookman of course, but I don't pay attention to certain players, and Ederson was one of those. Even though Ederson has had a very good season last year, then I paid a bit more attention to him. He felt very good, strong on the ball, very good presser, with a great engine on him. He can run for days. He did good against Arsenal as well in the Champions League. But 60 million seems quite a bit steep, about 54 million pounds. Well, given that we spent 34 on, on Fabio Vieira, and it came to nothing, and we paid something like that, wouldn't be actually the worst, but it is what it is. Bring Reinders then. I rate Ederson more than Zubimendi, but yeah, Zubi isn't the worst. That is the thing. There are multiple options available. It's just the fact whether Mikel Arteta wants him, whether he fits the system and stuff like that. Because personally, for me, from the players Mikel Arteta has signed over the last 2 years, just because. Arsenal. I want to check this. Arsenal FC. Last 2 years, Arsenal transfer business, right? I want to see this. All departures, top goal scorers, blah, blah, blah. Top arrivals. Here we go. All arrivals, 24-25. Here we go. Select all positions, main position, age group, transfer, summer transfer. Well, doesn't matter. But yeah, of all these players Arsenal signed this season, for example, for the last 2 years, I'm gonna count last 2 years. I'm gonna tell which ones I would sign and I wouldn't sign. For example, Fabio Vieira, I never would have signed. Well, Fabio Vieira doesn't count. Raheem Sterling came in. Never would have signed him. David Raya, yes, I would. Let's just say it as it is. Mikel Merino, never would have signed. Calafiori, also never would have signed. 3 players I never would have signed from this year's 4 players we signed. First of all. Last year, wouldn't sign Kai Havertz. That's about it. I wouldn't sign Kai Havertz. So 4 out of 6 or 7 players Arteta has signed over last 2 years, I would not have signed. So now look at the players I would have signed instead, right? We paid 65 million for Havertz, right? 65 million pounds. For that money, I would have signed Kudus, and for the 40 million that he was quoted, that leaves me still about 25 at like 10, 15 million on top. I would have signed another player overall at the time who was very available. And if we move to this year, or this last summer transfer window, right? We signed Calafiori for 40 million pounds, a left back. Definitely would have done that. Would have gone for Hato, would have gone for Miguel Gutierrez from Girona. Who else is there? I'm just looking at things. Who else is there? I would have signed even a center back or a right back. I would have looked at multiple options. We signed Mikel Merino for 30 million, some 32, 33 million. Instead of Merino, personally, I would have signed Fabian Ruiz. For me, I rate Fabian Ruiz much higher than I rate Mikel Merino, personally. For example, Raheem Sterling, I wouldn't have signed definitely. I would have just... Basically, who we could have signed instead of Raheem Sterling? Raheem Sterling. To be honest, nobody. Just see what happens, because Raheem Sterling has been with the squad. He has come on as a sub, but he has done pretty much nothing at the club. I can't say nothing, but if we last year signed Kudus, this Raheem Sterling problem wouldn't have been an issue this year. So if we go by the fact that instead of Kai Havertz, I would have signed, for example, Kudus and someone else, right? That again means we don't have to sign Sterling. We can use money elsewhere. And I would have signed, at the time, who was very good, I would have signed a striker. And that would be Dovbyk. You can laugh at me, but I would have signed Alvaro Morata as well. Because Dovbyk went for 35, Morata for 10, 15. That's 50 million for Dovbyk and Morata. 2 strikers. I wouldn't have said no to that. Even Tony, of course. There were multiple things we could have signed. Multiple players we could have signed. Many players we could have signed if we actually spent our money properly over these years. Because I did a stream about a month ago where I talked about the money we have spent, nearly 700 million, where we have spent about 300 properly, and the rest of the 300 have been wasted on players like Kiwior, about 10 defenders, 50 goalkeepers and stuff like that. It actually was kind of nuts, if you ask me. And you can laugh as much as you want for Morata and say yikes, but 10 million for Alvaro Morata to take him for 2-3 seasons wouldn't be the worst. 10 million, you know. 10 million. He has 11 games, 4 goals, 1 assist. He doesn't start games. In Champions League, he scores. Coppa Italia hasn't played. He went for 13 million euros. For 10 million pounds. Like, come on, man. Given the money we waste on certain players, we easily could have just signed Morata for 10 million. Wouldn't be the worst option. As a backup striker, why not? Dovbyk as well. Yes, he hasn't hit the ground running at Roma. I'm gonna admit to that. But Roma have had like 4 different managers currently. In 13 games, 4 goals, 1 assist. But in Arsenal system, in my opinion, he would cook 100%. He's also 6'3", so he would definitely could be good in the air, in aerial duels. Only 30 million, so 27 million pounds. Like, there were many cheap options available in the market this year. And our Arsenal decided to don't sign any of those. They decided to sign. Scamacca has ACL. I don't think we would have signed him. Scamacca has ACL. That is a big issue. I think he got his ACL as well in August. I think it was, wasn't it? It was early in the season. It really busted up. Yeah, see? He got his ACL tear in the August 4th. No chance Arsenal would have signed him. I know. I remember this. He was supposed to be one of the big guys in Atalanta. Then doing great without him. I'm not gonna lie. Now the big one is Why Arsenal are not going? Would Arsenal go back for our one of the guys, Lookman? 12 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. Champions League, 4 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. 40 million euros. Contract runs out, by the way. And I kid you not, in year and a half. In June 30th, 2026, which means by the end of this season, he will have 1 year left on his contract. Yeah, that's the thing. Lookman is the one that people say Arsenal should go for. Many Arsenal fans are saying he's not, and I'm not denying it. He actually could be decent. The thing about this is, though, we need the way we play, he just wouldn't work. He needs space, he needs pace, he needs drive, he needs to run, and we just play very static, and that for me is a big no-no. Unless we play this open expensive football, which we did 22-23 season, second part of last season, on semi-regular basis we play currently. If we don't play like that, Lookman will disappear. I generally believe he's that type of player who needs space, who needs to have some place where he can start a run, get in behind, take on opponents and do stuff like that. That for me is that's the way I see Lookman, at least. We need someone close to Saka level on the left. Is there many players who are close to Saka level? Rodrigo is only one. Exactly. Rodrigo is the only one guaranteed one. And Rodrigo would cost, and I kid you not, about 150 million. 150 million Rodrigo would cost. Yes, this year not raising mountains with 13 games, 3 goals, 1 assist, but Real Madrid in general are shit. Real Madrid are playing Girona today, and they're playing currently. It's 1-0 Real Madrid, right? As they are saying. Wait, live. Lecce Roma is 1-1. Salamaker scored. Lyon scored. Who scored? Tagliafico scored. Cherki assist. Who scored for... Bellingham scored for Real Madrid. Holy crap. Real Madrid are playing 4-2-2, 4-2-2-2, which seems wild. Mbappe is playing as a left striker / left wing in a way. Diaz is playing right striker / right wing with Goulet in behind him. Very interesting setup from Ancelotti in this game. Very interesting setup in this game from Ancelotti in this game, I'm not gonna lie. Which is kind of wild. Then technically it's 4-2-3-1, yeah, but it feels Mbappe doesn't work as a striker. He drifts wide. He should be drifting wide a bit more. But yeah, that's the thing. You say you would spend it. The question is, would Arsenal spend it? That for me is the big question. Would Arsenal spend it? Yes, we have done it once, but could we do it again? Would we do it again? I can see this happening, us spending, for example, 130, 140 million, only if we sell Martinelli for about 70 million or something like that, and then we sell one more player to kind of close the gap. Yes, we finish this summer transfer window with net profit, but ultimately, how much does that carry away in Arsenal's books? Because Arsenal are similar like Top Gunners and many Arsenal fans who have goldfish memories, and as soon as the window closes, they feels like they forget it, what has been done, and they instantly move on. Imagine being the coach prepared to face Arsenal and you need to stop Saka, Rodrigo and Joe. It's all Jover for them. It's all Jover for them instantly. But yeah, anyways, what else is here? We only talked about this. Oh, this one. And this is something that gives me hope for tomorrow's game, by the way. William Saliba continues to lead defensive pack. He's expected to have his partner Gabriel Magalhaes back with the lineup. So according to rumors, apparently Gabriel will be back for the game against Fulham. Apparently he will start together with Saliba, and that is some very great, very good news in terms of Arsenal, because we need some more defensive solidity. The way they're gonna play, the way they're gonna try and drive an attack with Iwobi, with what's his name, Wilson, with Carney, Emil Smith-Rowe, of course, Jimenez and everything, we will need some big tough guys to deal with that, especially the crosses. And I think we need Gabriel back for that. And given that Marcos Silva is so cocky at the moment in interviews saying, I know how to defend basically our set pieces, we did it last year, he needs some humbling. And Gabriel would be the perfect guy to do this humbling, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I guess it is what it is at the end of the day. Martinelli easy 65, Jesus 35, Zinchenko 20, Kiwior 25. That's basically 145 million. So basically you sell 4 players to sign 1. The issue with this is if we do that, if basically these 4 sales fund us signing Rodrigo. The question is, will we have enough money to sign about 4 or 5 more players next summer? Because currently if we don't sign important big players or usable players this January, right? We already have a thin squad of 22 players. Last year we had 25. We have decreased it by 3, by the way. And already last year at times we were struggling. Even though our main guys were not injured, we had some questions about left back at least, but left back always has been an issue. We need to sign at least 5-6 players to increase the depth of the team. That is the big issue as well. Exactly, and that is the thing. Where is all the top 4, not even titles, top 4 revenue and UCL revenue going? Where is it? Because we don't see it. Arsenal now want to rebuild Emirates, expand Emirates and all that stuff, which means they have another excuse on why we are not gonna spend money in transfer windows. Because it was the same under Arsene Wenger. Oh, we cannot spend money in transfer windows because we have to pay off debt of building Emirates. Yeah, that's why we had to sell our best players all the time. We had to pay. Like that just doesn't fly. It was about 26 year deal, 500 million. That on average comes out 20 mil a year. And if we get consistent top 4, for top 4 we get substantially more money than 20 million that we just have to pay yearly for that loan. So where did all the money go? And where is all the money going now? Because how comes you can play in Champions League, get in quarterfinals, okay, we lose, we finish second in the Premier League and everything, all the TV rights, endorsement deals, commercials, everything, right? And yet you are still penny pinching in transfer window and finishing arguably the most important transfer window in the last 20 years of Arsenal's history with net profit. Like, where does it make sense? This math ain't mathin'. Where is all the money going, if you ask me it that way? Like, this is the big question now. How to win the dog's food? Definitely. Definitely. Like, I don't know. It's a big question which really raises the eyebrow and gives you, again, more questions than answers. And that is a big issue, because currently we are somewhat edging closer to become another Arsene Wenger Arsenal. Not maybe in terms of how we play or something like that, but in terms of the control of the club. Because there are quite many similarities with the time when Wenger got this massive ownership part of Arsenal, like as Arteta has now. There are similarities and people just don't see it because there is a part of Arsenal's fan base who have not seen that. Genuinely have not seen that because they're still young, very young, and they have not seen it. Or if they were not they were not paying attention too much to it. But if you kind of start digging into it and you kind of maybe make a list down the middle, left side under Wenger, right side under Mikel Arteta, and you start making a list with points, they will overlay quite a bit in that regard. Exactly, I just want trophies. I'm tired of being bantered as well. Genuinely, 20 years, 22 years almost. Well, 21 years without a Premier League. Well, it could be 22. Without the Premier League trophy. We moved to Emirates to compete with Bayern Munich, to go for Champions League and Premier League titles and attract world-class players. How many world-class players since moving to Emirates we actually have signed? Like, serious talk. How many world-class players we have actually signed since we have moved to the Emirates? Like, just throwing it out there. Like, think about this. Like, on top of my head, I have Mesut Ozil, And that's about it. Because Alexis Sanchez was very, very good already, but he was behind Pedro in Barcelona's team. So signing Alexis Sanchez, giving him the freedom, made him step up maybe a level or two and making him in a world-class category. Same goes for Aubameyang. He was up there, but he wasn't in that category. But when it comes to Arsenal, wins Golden Boot, wins us FA Cup, carries us through seasons, scores in substantial amounts of goals every season, and it was in incredible form, always struck fear into defenders of opponents. Yeah, he was there, but we didn't sign a world-class player. We made him arguably in that category of discussions about a world-class attacker. We made Alexis that. So arguably, since we moved to Emirates, in 18 years, we have signed one world-class player in Mesut Ozil. Rest of them, we have made them themselves. We haven't even attracted anyone. It's all fun and games when we get linked with Benzema, with Mbappe, with Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez, and players like that. But at the end of the day, we sign anyone. And we moved to Emirates to attract them. And we didn't attract anyone. We haven't attracted anyone. And if you come to think of it, we moved to Emirates to compete with Bayern Munich and Champions League, go for titles and everything. But what we have seen since we moved to Emirates? Bayern Munich pamming us 5-1, 10-2. Getting laughed at by Monaco, Olympiacos, Sporting Lisbon, teams like that. Yeah, that was well worth it. Genuinely, that was well worth it. 100%. And last year, Arsenal are scintillating, dangerous, they should be scared. Pray for Bayern Munich in the chat and everything that people were saying on the streams. We got beat by the worst Bayern Munich team in the last decade. And we are all screaming, well, Top Gunners at least are, that we technically have the best Arsenal team in the last decade, 15 years maybe even. And we got still beat by the worst Bayern Munich team in the last decade. Where does that make any sense then? Are we really that good? We're not. And let's not forget Stan Kroenke's famous quote when he purchased Arsenal. I bought Arsenal not to win trophies. So what there is left then? Only the money he can get if we finish top 4, get in Champions League from TV revenues and everything. For him, it's not about the trophies. And yes, when we look at, for example, the sports teams KSC owns, your Colorado Rapids, Colorado Avalanche, Denver Nuggets, the lacrosse team and all that crap they have there. Yes, they have won. Nuggets have won NBA. Rapids have won MLS. Avalanche have won NHL. But they've done it once in the last 10, 15, 20 years and haven't done it since. And now they're struggling on some level as well. They are maybe up there, let's just say top 6, 7 as candidates, but they never get it over the line anymore. And if I look at this as an Arsenal fan, okay, I will win the league, for example. All dandy. But if I win the league, don't you think I want to win the league again next year? And the year after that? And the year after that? Or the cups? Yes, I do. But Kroenkes just don't see it that way. And that's what's really bothering me, that Kroenkes don't take seriously it. Genuinely don't. They don't understand it. And to make matters worse at the end of the day, we have a poster, massive, like a big wall, just outside the Emirates, a bit about half a mile from Emirates, right? With Josh Kroenke's face on it. Genuinely, there's a wall with Josh Kroenke's face on it. Like about half a mile from Emirates, if not even closer. Like, why? We get a dog, call it win, something we cannot do. We get puppy toys in the shop. We have the most expensive tickets in the whole world, pretty much. Like, it's all about PR. It's all about the money and about success. Who cares, I guess. But at the end of the day, that's what it feels like. Get left on read by likes of Vlahovic. Yeah, we got left on read by likes of Vlahovic. Genuinely, we just send message to Vlahovic. He looks at it. Bish, please. And he goes to Juventus. Best paid player in Serie A, by the way, by substantial amount, insane amount of money he's getting. On top of that, by the way, on occasion you still see Arsenal link with him. Like, make it make sense. Now there's talks, like yellow page stories. Vlahovic would entertain playing for Arsenal in Premier League. Well, alright, lightly he would, because we are on top almost. We are fighting for the title. Juventus are struggling currently. But Arteta is a man of pride. He's not gonna sign a player who basically has done him over. And let's be real. I know it's heartbreaking. And I still stand by the point that one of the best players we let go from Arsenal in the last 5 years has been Matteo Guendouzi. I still stand by it. Because if Arteta wasn't such a stubborn man, and he actually could have done it in a much quieter way, resolve these issues and everything, he would have been quite fantastic in our midfield. Imagine Guendouzi in current Arsenal team, like under proper growth, proper managing, not getting loaned out every season and shifting teams every other season. Imagine him as a left 8, for example. I think that actually would be quite fantastic. Generally believe so. That could be quite fantastic. Predicted. We did that yesterday. We yesterday had a Fulham versus Arsenal preview, didn't we? Already talked. There was a predicted starting 11 for Arsenal game. There was that already, man. Today there's just talks, chill vibes, and all that stuff. None of the Fulham hype and everything. For today, at least. Tomorrow after the game, yeah. Yeah, you came right at the end, pretty much. Right at the end of it. Just at the end of the stream when it was pretty much done and dusted, where we talked about potentials, about proper starting 11, and then if Calafiori, Gabriel are injured, if Partey is injured and stuff like that. You pretty much just came in at the end. In the attack, Leandro Trossard might also get a nod ahead of Gabriel Martin. That's what I said. This starting 11 is the 11, right? I definitely would pick if everyone was fully fit. If everyone was fully fit, everyone was happy dandy, happy chappy, blah blah. Sorry. Blah blah blah, everything would be fine. I definitely would pick this starting 11. The thing about me is though, if Calafiori cannot play, most likely Zinchenko will play. I don't have issue with that. I'm not gonna lie. Zinchenko actually was somewhat decent. The only worry for me with freaking hate this. With Zinchenko for me, right, is the fact that him against Adama Traore would be quite a bit of an issue due to pace and strength. That is the only thing, because there's no questions that Zinchenko would help us in the attack 100% with his short passing and his distribution. The defensive side is the one that worries me. But if we have Gabriel back, it should not be such a worry if we look at it long term and what we have seen before when Zinchenko has started and Gabriel has covered him. But yeah, this would be my starting 11 as well if everyone was fit. We already talked about it yesterday. Yeah, and to be honest as well, even Calafiori versus Traore is worrying me. Because every time he's come up against pacey, very shifty attacker, winger specifically, he has genuinely just gone missing. He got cooked by Savio consistently against City in the first game, in the first 25 minutes. And against pacey attackers, you can see that Calafiori will have issues. And if he cannot fix that, there will be a big issues, because most of the wingers are hella pacey in Premier League. Yeah, exactly. I really do that too. But again, even if we were moving even like a big club, let's face it, we need to sell about 7-8 players. And we need to sign about 10-11 players. Just so we can cover the depth of the team, because we already have the smallest squad in Premier League, only 22 players. To make it even 25 like it was last year, we need to sign 3 extra players. So if we sell 7, we need to sign 10 or 11. If we sell 9, we need to sign about 13, 14 players. And that's never gonna happen. It's again, the thing is though, and here comes the kicker. Again, this will be then sent as a process. 3-4 year process. Again, multiple stages, multiple phases and everything. Phase 10, Phase 11, Phase 12 and 13. Remember, Edu came into the club and said, first things first, what we had to do is get rid of the players who are not performing up to the standard and are overpaid. Fast forward 4 or 5 years after that interview, what Arsenal have now? Players who are not performing good enough and not good enough for the club, on very high overpaid wages. And the wages are even higher than it were 4 years ago when we were getting rid of those players. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Nothing has changed. Nothing genuinely has changed. We are doing just around and round and round and round we go. Where are we gonna land? Nobody knows. How can Chelsea spend 2 billion and we move like exactly? That's the thing. Chelsea and Bowley, Clown Lake, as they get called, found a loophole. They found a loophole in the rules and they exploited it to the maximum extent. Right? They're basically as soon as FA discovered it and UEFA and everything, right? It got shut down. But then already it was too late. They spent 2 billion, it feels like. They sold hotels to the Clear Lake sister company and everything. They got the money influx and everything to cover the PSR, FFP and all that crap. To try at least to do that and everything to show the money. And they shut it down now to a certain extent. But now it's too late. They already done the job. They have one squad playing in Conference League, one team playing in Premier League, and then they have about 10 players who are just floating around. They added somewhere there, somewhere there, somewhere here. And on top of that, right, it will happen two things. Either they will get transfer ban, which to be honest, even if they get it for a year or two, shouldn't be an issue. The amount of players they have, the players they have in the club and everything, they're young, they will grow, they will improve. No issue. They have the depth as well. They don't have to worry in that regard. If nothing happens, again, they will pay the fine if there is, and they will just jog on. Nothing will happen. So they are in a win-win position either way in this regard. Exactly, they've shown the ambition. And the worst part is, let's be real, if they could have found a loophole in the system, it has been there for ages. Surely Man City have seen it, they just went a different way. 100% Arsenal have seen it as well. They just decided not to use it. Because as soon as the talk comes to FFP, PSR and stuff like that, Arsenal hold on to that as an excuse, as a reason for something not to do, as the Holy Bible. We are the only club that does that. We take it for granted. It was just like under Arsene Wenger as well. Oh, we cannot sign, we have FFP issues. Instantly, we have spent too much money. We cannot, we need to balance it out over 4-3-year period and all that crap, need to pay it off, then we can go again. And Arsenal do that every single time. They don't dare to break the rules. We play it by the book. Whilst every other goddamn team in the world says rules, screw your rules. Rules are meant to be broken. They find a loophole. They find a way to bend the rule in their favor. And by the time it's discovered, shut down, changed, everything, it's too late. And what they're gonna do, it's their mistake that the rule is there in the first place. They cannot basically charge them for enforcing something they wrote, just didn't realize there was a mistake in it. So at the end of the day, only losers in this instance is Arsenal. Because yes, you can banter Chelsea for spending 2 billion. But sooner or later, everything will click. Plus they have assets to sell as well. Those players they can sell also for big money and everything. And it's inevitable. At some point, Chelsea will overtake us because look where they are right now. They're all already showing certain glimpses. Yes, it could be due to the fact that the team is broken and everything and the league is broken, but still. Exactly. Fergie broke transfer record and laughed at us. Took our best attacker and won the league again. Exactly. That year when United won the league with Van Persie, their whole strategy was kick the ball to Van Persie and hope for the best. It generally felt like half or 60% of the season and everything where they won the league and everything, it felt like that. And it worked. If it's not broken, if it's broke, don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So they exploited it to the maximum extent. Like, it's mad. It's genuinely mad. So, but anyhow, we'll be alive for some time. Have talking about some uncomfortable discussions and uncomfortable topics, obviously. Have put my opinion on the table. Let me know down in comments below if you're watching this as a playback your opinion. Subscribe, like, smash that like. Have a great evening. Arsenal tomorrow play Fulham. Hopefully, we are collecting 3 points, as Nathan is saying. Hopefully, we are collecting 3 points. Hopefully, we can do it. Let's see, can we get the revenge over Fulham? Let's see. But yeah, for today, I am out. Take care.